Hello, welcome back to the IO/Rare Evo live stream. It is me, Tamara Haasen, president of IO, and I am here today with a special guest, Arian Samouie. Arian Samouie is a mindset mentor. He is a healer, spiritual teacher, and he's also my boyfriend. I usually say partner, but he's my boyfriend/partner. So hello, Arian. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, darling. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much. So, Arian, I wanted to actually transition. So the last moment that I was talking to Charles, we were starting to veer into a little bit about talking about the inner space. I'm really, really big into thinking about not just how we can change the external systems of the world, but I always see the human as its own system, right? So actually, that's how we met. I actually reached out to you on behalf of IO because I wanted you to actually come in and maybe teach people about this thing called, at that point in time, I just called it EQ, or inner awareness. So I just kind of wanted to start there about first, just tell everybody, what do you do? And then maybe weave in a little bit about how you teach about awareness, inner awareness, and what you think about EQ in general.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, I'm all about mindset, but not just necessarily mindset. It's all about understanding the human being, what we are, and to learn who we are and how this works, this human being, to be able to raise self-awareness. EQ, I would define it as being able to understand yourself as an emotional being. Mm-hmm. And when you're going through life, experiencing emotions, experiencing the life, especially when it comes to relationships with other people, is to understand why you have the reactions, the thoughts, the beliefs that you do in order to have more control of yourself, so then that you can make healthier decisions for you and the people that you're with as well. So by someone being able to question why they are the way they are, why they feel what they do, and being okay with feeling that, to then decide, all right, I'm going to go down this path instead of this path, that would be the EQ. Someone who has a higher level of EQ is someone that understands themselves and is able to make a decision that's not necessarily spiraling, or that's not against other people, and that's not, all right, I'm only out for me and I don't care about anyone else.
Yeah.
Probably the best way to describe it.
Okay, so what's the difference between what you do versus what other people do in the market?
I mean, for me, basically, I've got, it's not necessarily therapy. What I do is I go much, much deeper. Mm-hmm. I have a framework, the inner awareness framework, mm-hmm. which you know about.
Yeah.
And I teach in a kind of a different way to understand the self, in the sense that, you know, we have an inner world and an outer world. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, most people in the world are much more focused externally on the matter. And this is the way that life is. This is the way that my reality is, without understanding that my inner world is actually my perspective of the outer world. So you and I could be sitting down here, mm-hmm. having the exact same experience, but we would have a completely different outcome, a completely different perspective of it. So what I do is I kind of teach you how you work as an emotional being, the mechanics of your inner world and how that affects your perspective of the outer world. Because that's truly the only way you can raise self-awareness, is to understand the unconscious part of yourself, understand the whys behind why you do what you do, why you're even going down the path that you're going down.
Yeah.
And that's the clarity. You know, the main thing that I help people with is giving them the tools that they need to be able to understand their own path, mm-hmm. because that's what leads to freedom. So you cannot do that without understanding your authentic truth, mm-hmm. and you cannot do that without understanding how to discover what is authentic for you, and that lives in your inner world.
It really does. Okay, so I've been on this journey for about 2 years, literally 2 years with you.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to sound like a shameless plug, but I tried everything. I talked to therapists. Like, we all have trauma. That's like the big news is we all have pain. We all have trauma that just I didn't even realize that kind of reflects itself in my here and now. So, like, if I'm out there and say I'm just self-conscious, or I'm scared of talking to people, or I'm drinking at a party or something like that, that's actually all stemming from something. This is what I've learned from you, deep, deep, deep down, that has happened to me possibly a long time ago, that I'm masking with these types of behaviors here that are coming out in the real environment that I'm in here and now. So the reason that I found his work is I was really going through something here at work, and, you know, being a woman and in leadership and all of this stuff, it's been hard. Like, as Charles mentioned on the last part, like, building these ecosystems, it's been absolutely hard. You're just dealing with humans that, you know, also aren't completely aware of themselves, or, you know, and we're all building new systems. And to build new systems, you have to imbue it with a certain sense of knowledge and wisdom, and it's just been incredibly difficult. So I remember just, like, really having trouble just continuously showing up without sort of just questioning everything, and you know, breaking down even at times. So I found your work on TikTok. I don't promote TikTok, but I found it on TikTok. He's also on Instagram. That's where most people follow him, and TikTok. But I found it on TikTok, and I remember just, you know, your first video was like, too needy doesn't exist. And he has a whole video on that. And I just remember that resonating with me. You spoke to me. It was a bit, like, really speaking to me, just saying, too needy doesn't exist. You just speak to people in a different way. Then I took your course. It was a very short course at that time. And I took it, and I learned the framework. And I've been applying it over and over again. So just like when you build systems, he's built a framework, a system, to help you understand and go into yourself and understand why you are having these experiences and feelings, and understanding how to validate them, understand them, integrate them, and you really do show up as a new human. It takes time. It's a lifelong process, right? Yeah. So maybe talk to people about, like, I actually remember that early on. It's another reason I reached out to you, because I use the word ecosystem all the time. And I remember you saying that we are an ecosystem of parts. Or talk a little bit about what that means on the human system. What did you mean by an ecosystem of parts?
So what I do, I present human beings in a different way. You know, you really need to understand that you are not one part, you are multiple parts. And we've all heard of multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
That's when it's really, really out of control. But every single human being is multiple parts. You know, sometimes we talk and our conversations, we're like, oh, no, I'm completely okay with that.
Yeah.
But then you realize that there's actually a part of you that's not okay with that.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand that, okay, now I'm taking on this part versus taking on this part, there's an invalidation to what is trying to be kind of brought to your awareness, brought your attention. And we have hundreds, if not thousands, of parts that all have their own needs, that all have their own desires, that all have their own behaviors. And we see ourselves as this one being. And we're not. We are continuously becoming different parts of ourselves all day, every day. And because we don't live in a time where this is common knowledge, all of the parts that you have been called by the same name. So they all take on that same identity.
The same name meaning like Tam.
Tam.
Yeah.
So every single part that you have been has been called Tam.
Yeah.
So you see you as this one thing that's Tam.
Yeah.
But you're not.
No.
You're multiple parts.
Yes.
And the difference between, like, once a human being understands that to the degree where, okay, I'm multiple parts, that means any interaction I have, any conversation I have, any challenge that I have, when I understand that, okay, this part of me is coming up and it's completely different to what that other part of me wants, needs, or desires, I now have an awareness that I didn't have before. I can now validate this part. I can now integrate this part. I can now raise more self-awareness because the self is all of these parts together. Mm-hmm. And unless you're able to do that, you're kind of only living in this one direction of I am this one being, and you're missing out on so many different parts and communications. And I mean, that's why we feel. Mm-hmm. A feeling is a feedback. It's like a notification. Mm-hmm. So we brought up in a way that we learned that you shouldn't feel a way and to ignore how you feel and you need to be like this. And so we're being triggered to feel these parts, and it's a communication, something for me to understand about myself. And I'm going, no, I don't need to feel that. I shouldn't feel like that. So I'm pushing it away. And that's where we're kind of limiting ourselves, and that's why people struggle to grow and struggle to get to that next level, because we don't have the tools and understanding that we need to be able to understand ourselves in that way.
That makes a lot of sense. So people listening to us right now are probably like, why is this not about blockchain? And like, what are these two people talking about? What do you think like the reaction of people, even in ecosystems, this type of audience would have towards this? Like, especially engineers. I talk to engineers a lot about this, and I find some of them look at me like, what are you really talking about? Like, they don't seem open to it. Not just engineers, but people. Like, how do we get more people to understand that it's okay to understand yourself? It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to go. Like, why do you think why is there a barrier for some people? I find more women open to it. When I talk to women about this, and a lot of your audience is women, right?
Yeah.
Women seem predominantly open to this. Do you think, like, why? Maybe is it a male-woman thing? I don't always like to put things into those categories, but I find talking to women a lot easier about this than talking to men about this.
Yeah. Well, it's all to do with society and our upbringing as a society.
Yeah.
You know, we're brought up in the way that we're taught some emotions are okay, some are not. Men, so much more than women. Women have that allowance to be emotional, to cry.
That makes sense.
So they are actually more emotionally intelligent by default, because they have that ability to kind of feel more. And
can you say that again? Just into the mic, just a little bit louder. Women are more emotionally intelligent.
The way that we're
Just
bringing
kidding.
up women and men,
Yeah.
yes. So men do learn to suppress a lot more. So, for example, you know, big boys don't cry, or even big girls don't cry. We're told to suppress what is happening.
Yeah,
But
I've had to, being a leader of a tech company too. Like, it's like a big girl, you're a leader. You're not allowed to show vulnerability. You're not allowed to cry. That's why leaders like me, we start to take on these more masculine, unintegrated masculine traits.
to be able to survive. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. But no one's ever stopped to really kind of think about, well, what is crying? Like, what is the functionality
What
of
is it?
crying? Crying is letting go of emotion, regulating. It's to allow something that is there that wants to be released.
Is it energy?
To be released. It's trapped energy in the body. So
Emotions are energy.
emotions are energy. So how we feel in every single sense of it has that energy in our body. And crying is a functionality of the human being. So instead of kind of questioning, well, why am I even crying? Not because what happened in my external world or what I feel, but like mechanically, why is this human being crying? And it's so important, especially if you're an entrepreneur or if you're in a company that wants to grow and you're ahead of the curve. Like, you know, everyone in blockchain is someone growth oriented that wants to move forward. And, you know, you kind of think about, why am I not curious about how I work?
Yes, this has been my fascination too. We're so curious about the systems that we're building, which are eventually going to become quite commoditized.
Yeah.
But I find that fascinating that not a lot of people, from my experience, have been that curious about thyself.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I think some of the reason is just like, I mean, I was fascinated with it and always have been, but I didn't even think that I could even understand myself until I met you. Like, I didn't even know that it was even possible. So maybe if people know that there is a possibility to understand thyself, I think that will really help. Like the academy that I want to build as well with IO, I want to teach about the inner space. And back in Plato's time, you got taught about yourself through the 7 chakras. Actually, they actually focused on the self first, because we're the things that are creating the system, input, output. So like we're the humans that are having the ideas to create the systems and the products and serve the customers. But yet we never think about us as humans. We complain about it. Well, that person was mean to me, and that person was disrespectful, and that person didn't. We complain a lot about it, and we notice it, and it affects us emotionally, but we never know how to solve it.
Yeah.
And I just find that fascinating, and I hope for that to change, because I think you and I, this is all, like, we're aligned on so many levels, like you know, as a couple. But I think we both agree that if we can change the human, we can change the world.
That's the only way.
In a better way, in a more meaningful, healthy way, I would think.
That's the only way, and that's
I think
Michael
so.
Jackson even said that. You know,
He
in his
did
song,
say
what was
that.
it, Man in the Mirror? If you want to make the world a better
Yeah.
place, take a look at yourself and make that change. And it's so true because, look, the reason why it's the most important in businesses, and I truly mean this work is the most important in businesses, especially blockchain.
Yeah.
You know, people don't get into blockchain unless they want to change the world.
Indeed.
They truly don't.
Yep. True.
And why do you want to change the world? Well, to make it better. Okay. In order to make the world better, we don't want to make the same mistakes and kind of repeat the same things that we were doing before.
Yes.
Governments do not run the world. Businesses run the world. And it's the businesses that are needs to make that change. Now, if I'm kind of just working towards trying to change the world, and if I'm not able to understand myself and make that change internally, I'm then not able to have the compassion I need and to be able to relate to my fellow man, which will then create the same kind of companies that
Exactly.
don't care that if what I do here damages this culture here and this person here
Yeah.
and that family there. And we're not going to be able to change the world if we just kind of head down, move forward, just go. Because at the end of the day, like, why am I even doing that? Well, I'm doing it to change the world. Yeah, but why am I doing it personally? And, you know, the kind of top level answer is always because that's what's going to give me value. Because everyone's going to look at me and go, oh, you did great.
Yeah.
You did amazing. You built all of this and you did
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And I thought you're great.
Yeah.
And if I truly had that value, I'd be kind of going, okay, well, what is the reason why I'm building it in this way? Why am I going down this path? How is this going to affect these people? And that's not necessarily, it'll be a slow change, but if I want to really change the world, I have to think about my fellow human being. And the only way that I can truly do that is by thinking about myself
Exactly.
to that degree where I'm doing the work and understanding myself.
Isn't that funny too? Because there's so many people like don't be selfish or don't think about yourself first. We've like taught society to not do
Yeah.
that, but is the most important thing. It's like mask on. Again, it's like why I like the name of our company, Input Output.
Yeah.
What were the inputs into the actual system? What do you think about the people that possibly? I can always hear people's but this. Like I just hear people's not voices in my head. I'm not, but I talk
You
to
can
people.
anticipate.
I can anticipate what they say, and they also just say it. What do you say to those people that are like, okay, so you just want everything to be kumbaya, and we're all like sitting there singing, you know, like Imagine.
I'd say you don't know my work.
Yeah.
Like truly, that is not what we do.
No.
You know?
We're not kumbaya.
We're not kumbaya at all. One of the things that I hate the most
Yeah.
is the term positive vibes only. I
Yeah.
think it's the most ridiculous thing. I work with executives. I work with high value people. I work with people that are hungry, that want to grow, that want to experience. You know, one of the most standard things that I get to with my clients is the overanalyzing. And the overanalyzing, which is what has been one of the best things to help achieve so many great things. But that overanalyzing skill that people have also is the thing that creates a lot of internal pain.
Yeah.
It's what makes you not stop, can't find your peace.
Yeah.
You won't spend time with your family, and then you'll regret it. Your health is declining. You're so analytical about yourself, and you're making it all mean about these bad things about you.
Yeah.
So
Spiraling.
So even though you have this phenomenal skill and tool of being able to analyze something to a degree that most people can't, and it comes from your trauma, it's not, we don't work with each other so you can stop analyzing. It's still, you're still you. It's just what we discover is, why am I making that mean this about myself? Why am I not choosing myself, my family, what's truly important to me, what my truth is? Why am I not aligning with my health? Why am I just deteriorating, killing myself to try and achieve this thing? And how it's damaging my relationships here, and I can't really have a good relationship with my parents or with my partner. And once you resolve that and you're not making it about yourself, you're then able to wield this phenomenal skill that you have in a healthy way. So it's not to do this work to then go, all right, I'm not going to self-analyze, or I'm not going to analyze anything anymore and I'm doing kumbaya. it's to truly understand where all these amazing skills that I have came from, and the unconscious stress that's continuously running, which is the cause of disease that's going to come later in life, which
very
is
much so.
whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about kind of becoming the 2.0 human.
Yeah.
To understand the inner space, because we were never taught this stuff. It was never taught in our school, and
Could be 4.0. I don't even know where we are.
wherever we are. But no, it's definitely not to become your standard spiritual. Everything is love.
No.
I hate that. Like, I genuinely
you
do,
do.
because it is not a true representation of the work that I do and that I teach. And this is for you to understand yourself and to become a more advanced human.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I think that was a good primer for people, because this is going to give people some pause and to take some time out to think, hopefully, about themselves a little bit more. So where can people find your work in particular? If they wanted to work with you, learn more about you, where can they find that?
Well, I'm on pretty much most social medias.
Yep.
There's my website, ariansamouie.com.
Uh-huh.
I'm on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn,
Yep.
X, and they're all just my name, at Arian Samouie.
Okay, and you also do one-to-one coaching as well?
I do one-to-one coaching. The inner awareness framework that is like blowing up right now, is changing lives. That's available for anyone. You know, you don't have to necessarily do the one-to-one work. There's mentorship program. There's so many things. Like, honestly, it's all on my website.
Great. And as I was mentioning to everybody, I'm building an academy with IO. It's going to be inner space awareness, but it's also going to teach people how to create these ecosystems, and it's going to actually be taught at every single level together, so you'll be leveling up. To learn more about that, I'm going to be putting something on our website very soon, the iohk.io, which I believe that handle is going to be changing soon. But I'm going to be inviting people to actually come and collaborate with me. So people like Arian and others will be collaborating with me on actually building the academy as well. So that'll be coming soon. So thank you very much, Arian Samouie, and thank you, audience, for listening.
Thank you.